Hello all and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today in this particular video, we are going to see how we can extract the information from invoice and convert that information into a JSON format using Google's Gemini AI. So this video gonna be very helpful video for the persons who are working in the direction of document AI, where they generally need this kind of applications to extract the information from the documents, from the PDFs, from the images, and from a different set of the documents that they generally work with. So this video gonna be very helpful for them, and also who are interested to work in the domain of invoices and document. This video gonna help them to give them a direction and start working with the handwritten extraction and also with the digital written extractions. So in this video, you wanna see that this is an handwritten invoice, and you're gonna extract all of the information in a JSON format. So this is what we're going to do here in this particular video, and let's see what is the performance, how does Gemini perform on this, and let's evaluate the performance by picking up some invoices, and let's see how the information will be extracted without using any OCR, without using any of other type of model. You just have to prompt it and get the answers and store it in a JSON format. That's it. So let's just get started. Okay, to start with this, we need to install Google Generative AI API, and then we're gonna import that particular API as GenAI. I have covered everything in detail about the installation and what are the things involved in generative AI in detail in my previous video. I will link down that particular video in my description. You can also go through that and understand the basics around the generative AI, and you can also explore some other videos where we have used LangChain with generative AI. I will mention that link in the description. So now the next thing we need is to get then generative AI or Gemini's API. So for that, you have to go into the Maker Studio, and then here you're gonna get into the Get API key, and once you click on it, you can create a key, Gemini AI key, and then you can copy this key from here, and you can start mentioning it here in the Google's Colab environment, and we can use this key, store it in a Google Colab, and we can start using this key as an import. So these days Google Colab allows to use API key, store it in the Google Colab itself, and then you can use it in your Google Colab by using the Google Colab facility or the API that it is available now. So from google.colab, import user data, and then you can use the same API key that you have mentioned here, and you can register your Gen AI that you have imported from the Google API, right? So we want to run this particular cell. So now it will register our API and with the Gen AI API, and we're going to see what are the models available in this particular API. So we know that there is a Gemini Pro and Gemini Pro Vision. So Gemini Pro is particularly for extracting or generating next sentence predictions or extracting the information from the given context, and this Gemini Pro Vision is having a multi-modality capability. So we're gonna take in image and text and gonna give you back answer based on the prompt you have given based on the images that you are asking for. So these are the two models that are available with this particular API, and now we are ready to set up with the things. Essentially, there are some model configurations and model settings which I have described in detail in my previous videos, so you can go and check it out. But for this particular video, we are going to use this model settings, which is temperature is equal to 0.2, where we are going to target this as a very less temperature, because we don't want the model to be very generative or extract some random predictions. So we want to be very specific, so hence we have reduced this temperature, and we have taken top p is equal to 1, top k is equal to 32, and we have taken max output token as it is, whatever is given as default for this particular Gemini AI Pro model, right? Gemini AI Pro Vision model. And we have described this safety settings. This is very basic settings that are given by or the default settings given by the Google. So I'm directly going to use it, and I have talked everything in detail about the safety settings. You can also go into that particular video and understand the things, how these things changes, and what are the things you have to change to understand how the safety will change when you change these thresholds, right? Okay, so once you have described all of this model configurations and safety settings, then you have to import the model. So for this purpose, for this particular purpose, or for this particular use cases, we are going to use an invoice image and extract some certain information. We are going to use Gemini Pro vision model, which has a text and image capabilities. We are going to input the images and ask certain question from those images and get back the answers and store it in a resulting format that we want. So that's where the Gemini Pro vision will gonna help us. So we're going to import this from a generative AI model from Gen AI that we imported, and then we want to mention the model configurations and also the safety settings, and then we want to load this particular model. That's it, you're ready with the model. Now what you can do is you have to just call this particular model with certain input prompts. So for this, first we have created one function. What it will do is it will just take up the image, and you have to specify the image format, like what type of image you're going to input into this particular model. So you're going to store it in a part of a dictionary under a list, and that information will be stored, like what type of image you're going to upload into this particular model, and also the image data type, whether it's a byte data type, or it's a base64 image data type, or it could be a direct image URL also. Right now we have taken a byte information. We have converted that image into bytes, and then we have mentioned the image type. You can also change this image type to this formats. It actually holds meme type of format, which has these three formats. So you can mention all of these three formats here depending upon the image type that you have, and then you can mention the data, that is the image data. And that's what it is going to do. So right now I'm taking an image, loading an image, and converting that image into an bytes, and then that's what it is doing here. This function is taking up an image path, and it is loading up the image from pathlib, and then it's reading into the bytes format, and we are passing it to as an PNG format, and we're going to store it as an list under dictionary, and we're going to return that particular list with these informations. And once this function is ready, this is what the function is required to generate, so that the right image format is maintained for Gemini AI as an input. Now the next thing is we have to generate an output, where we're going to input an image and input a system prompt, and we are going to also put an user prompt, right? So this particular function gonna help us to do all of these things. It will set up an image, which is what we're going to do here. So this particular function will be inherently called here. So it will take image and convert that into the required image format, and then we are going to pass a system prompt and also an user prompt, and you're going to pass this image information, which is this information, image part information coming from the function, as an input to the model. So this becomes an input. All these user prompt, system prompt, and image information becomes an input to the model, and it is stored in this list. And then you're going to call the model dot generate underscore content method, and you're going to pass all of these three inputs, system prompt, user prompt, and image information, into this model, and you're going to get back the response from the model, and then you're going to do response.text. So you're going to get the output from the model by using the user prompt, input prompt, and the image. That's what you're going to do in this particular function. So you have two functions, which the first function will prepare an image format as an input for your Gemini model, and the second function is for generating an output or the response from Gemini model by taking three inputs: system prompt, user prompt, and the image information. That's it, you're ready with this. You have loaded the model with certain model configurations. You have these two functions, and now you're ready to set up and run your extraction from the invoices. So for now, for this particular cell, what we want to do is we are going to take we are going to extract some information from an invoice. Not every information, not all the information from invoice. We're going to just see how we can extract certain information from an image. So for this, we have prepared one system prompt, which says that you are a specialist in comprehending receipts. Input images is in the form of a receipt, which will be provided to you, and your task is to respond questions based on the content of the input image. That's a system prompt, and then you have to pass an input image path, and then you have to pass in the user prompt, like what is the total tax amount in the image, or what is the total amount in the image. So you can query it with these prompts. So let me show you the image first. What is the image that we are going to take in? So this is an invoice image that we are going to take in. So it has some information, address information, invoice information, issue date and everything, and it has a lot of other informations available here, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to extract some of the informations from this. Like we're going to extract the total amount. We can also ask what is the seller's address, what is the delivery address. Likewise, we can question from this, and we can get back the answer. So let's input this image path. Let me copy this image path and then pass it into this particular function or variable, and then these three particular things, system prompt, image prompt and user prompt, are going to pass into this Gemini output function. And user prompt for now is what is the total amount in the image, right? So let me just run this particular cell and let's see what is the output that we should be getting. Ideally we should be getting the answer. Let me open this image again and let's see what's the output. So ideally we should see $1,200, and you can see it has clearly got an answers. The total amount is $1,200. We can also question what is the biller address, and we can rerun this. Ideally it should return this particular answer, and let's see what does it return. Okay, so you can see that it has clearly written this particular context of an image where the address of biller is mentioned, right? You can also question who has ordered the products. Let's question this. Okay, so you can clearly see that it has clearly answered that Julius Silva has ordered the products. You can see it has written Julius Silva, which is a bill to address, and it is clearly able to understand the context of the question that you are inputting, and it is able to give answers based on the input images that it has. So now what you can do next is you can extract all the information from an invoice and get back all the information in a form of JSON, which is very often use cases that we generally see in document AI world, where you need to have an invoice or any of the balance sheet, and you try to take that digital format and convert that into a CSV or JSON format, right? This is what we generally do in document AI, and that's how difficult it is. And generally it is very difficult to perform that kind of conversion from an image to a JSON format. But by using Gemini AI, it has been very easy for us to extract the information. So let's see how we can do that. So for this, first we need to use system prompt as it is what we have mentioned, and then we are going to pass the in image path. So let's say we are going to pass the same image that we were using earlier, right? So let's pass the same image, and then we are going to pass an user prompt which says that convert invoice data into JSON format with appropriate JSON tags as required for the data in an image. That's it. With this user prompt, you will be able to extract the information in JSON format and store it in a variable, and then later you can save it in any other file format that you want. So once you have set it up with this set of prompts, what you have to do is you have to pass this prompts into the Gemini output function, and then you have to run this. Once you run this, we're gonna see some output from this. So let's just wait for this to run. Okay, so now you can see that this particular invoice has been converted into the JSON. So let's see how the output is looking. You can see there is a one big dictionary which has invoice number. This is the invoice number and issue date, bill date, and then there is a one more key which is bill to, and it is storing further more information inside a dictionary which is Julia Silva and all the other information, and it has automatically given a name, a tag which is not there in this particular invoice, which is very cool. And it has also mentioned a key called address, and it is trying to store that particular address in this particular key. And you can see it has still concise that particular information in different key types. You can see it has segmented that particular address information, the street, city, state, zip. It's very cool. It's automatically try to understand the information and trying to store it in a key and value format. uh, and then there's another a key in this whole in this bigger dictionary where it is storing all the information is mentioned in the particular content, right? So it is trying to store it in an item key, and you can see for the first product, which is the first column, it says that product or service. So this is the first column, and then under it it is storing social media management, which is this one, and then quantity, which is the second column in the first row, and then it is storing the second quantity, and then it's also storing the price, which is the first row, and subtotal as $600, right? So this is the first row, and likewise it will be second row information and the third row information, and then it fill out this information in a list and store it in an item list, and then it will continue to go down and scroll it. You can see there is a total amount, and then is a pay to address. So you can see here is a pay to, where it has all the information of the delivery addresses where it's being paid. So it is again storing it in a key and value format, and it is pretty much able to identify the all the things in and store it in a JSON format, right? Look how cool it is. To do this task, I remember I have to take a lot of models to process the table, identify the table information, do an OCR, and then run an NER or layout LM models, and then get back to this particular kind of JSON format, which was very, very tricky, and it was very, very time consuming task for me to generally train all of these 3 to 4 models and get back these answers. But by this Gemini AI capabilities, now we are able to understand this document and extract the information very, very easily in just few seconds, which is what this particular technology amazed me. And the next level that we can take is, now let's analyze an handwritten image. So we can see that this is an handwritten image where you have a text invoice, and you have certain things written in a handwritten format, which is very difficult for even for a human to read. But let's see whether this model is able to, or Gemini AI is able to understand this information and store it in a JSON format. But first, let's try to extract certain information from the images. So let's copy back this particular image path, and then copy it here, and change the user prompt. What is the total amount in the image? And it should ideally return the answer, which is 570, which is handwritten. So let's see whether it is able to understand the handwritten images or invoices or not. Okay, so you can clearly see that it has generated 570, which is a total amount in this particular handwritten image, which is very cool. This is what you wanted to extract, right? And you can further question this particular image by using a different prompt. Let's say, what is the balance amount, a balance amount in the image? So it should be added returning the output 370, which is again and handwritten in this particular image, right? It is clearly able to extract the information from the handwritten images, right? Now let's go to the next level. Let's say we wanted to convert all of this invoice information into a JSON format, right? So let's go to the same set of prompts, and here we want to use the same set of prompts, the same system prompt, same user prompt, and you can always play with this kind of system and user prompts based on your requirements. But for me, this particular prompt has worked very good. So what I could do is I'm going to just copy the path of this particular image into the same system prompt and the user prompt, and then I want to run this particular cell to generate a JSON output for this particular image, handwritten image. And let's see how it is able to extract the information, and you will be amazed to see the results. Okay, so it has generated an JSON output for this particular image, and you can see the invoice number, which is mentioned at somewhere at the top, right? And then which is mentioned here as a customer order number, which is exactly correct what it means, customer order or invoice number. And then you can see an invoice date, which is handwritten, and it is clearly able to identify it as clearly as an digital format, right? and it is able to understand the customer name, which is Mr. Kennedy. And you can see it's following the same format, which is what we have seen earlier. It is taking item as a key, and under it it is now going row by row. So you can see it is going first row, which is the description, and says Brado 42 black, and it's clearly written something like Brado 42 black, and quantity is 1, and price is 500. You can clearly see it's written 500. And now the next row comes in, which is where it is written one by half, smaller bands, right? So it's, you can see in the descriptions, right, it's 1 by 2 smaller bands. It is able to understand, uh, it is trying to understand 1 into 1 by 2, which is how it is written, but I think it's doing pretty much good compared to the other OCRs. But it's not using OCR, but it's very cool to understand how language model is doing. And you can see it's mentioning quantity 1, but there is no price. Since there is no price, so it's written 0, essence, because it is reading row by row. And you can see in the third row it is saying 3/4 bigger neck. You can see it is able to extract this information, and likewise it is going and extracting all the information inside this written image. And you can see the last row, which has 2 inside pockets with zip. You can clearly see that it is very unclear in this particular image, but you can see how the model is picking up. You can see it is able to write the same output what it is written in handwritten format, right? And it is able to see the price, quantity, and then the next row is total, and the next row is deposit, and then the next row is balance. And that's how it stores the JSON information. Look how cool it is, how cool the Gemini AI is to able to extract the information from an invoice directly without using any 2 to 3 4 consecutive models, where first you need to identify the table, and you have to extract the all the informations from that particular table by using certain OCR, and that OCR should also be able to understand the digital as well as the handwritten context. And then the quality of OCR is also very required based on your use cases. And then once you have extracted the information, then you have to run NER model to extract the informations, or also you can use layout LM models. But certainly I've seen that in most of the cases layout model doesn't work in handwritten cases, but in generally it works. But although you have to train a model, you have to annotate the data and then train a layout LM model for your use cases, right? So it's another overload of annotating the data and then training a model, right? But here in just by using a single prompt, you're able to extract the information in the right format and with the right quality that you're expecting it to be. So I hope you enjoyed this particular content, and hope this will be helpful for your use cases. Please try it, and please let me know if you have any doubts in the comments. Thank you.